Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Daily Dose of Dat. I hope you're all doing well, and let's just jump right into this episode. And let's address the elephant in the room. So, this episode is about the EF5 drought and the Enderlin tornado. So, the EF5 drought has officially been broken. Extensive analysis was done on the Enderlin, North Dakota EF3 tornado on June 20th, 2025. And that analysis from multiple professional engineers and meteorologists resulted in an upgrade to the EF5 category, in which the last one was seen back on May 20th, 2013, with the devastating Moore, Oklahoma EF5 tornado. So, yes, this decision came after extensive analysis by professional engineers and meteorologists, and the EF5 damage was determined to be due to the train cars that were lofted. So there were 33 train cars in total, 19 fully loaded grain hopper cars, and 14 empty tanker cars. Among them, one loaded grain car weighing around 286,000 pounds and 4 empty tankers, each about 72,000 pounds, were pulled off the track into a nearby field. One of those tanker cars was thrown an incredible 600 to 1,000 feet off the tracks, roughly 475 feet farther than the previous car it had been connected to. The engineers noted EFI level damage in this area, with wind speeds exceeding 210 miles per hour. Further forensic analysis by the wind damage experts estimated that the winds of around 230 miles per hour would be needed to completely overturn a fully loaded grain hopper car. Meanwhile, collaboration with the Northern Tornadoes Project at Western University's Canadian Severe Storms Laboratory estimated that winds over 266 miles per hour would be required to loft the empty tanker car that far. So this was an incredibly violent tornado. It is shocking to see this still. And yes, so this is Aaron Rigsby's footage of the EF5 damage that occurred within the Enderlin tornado. So these train cars were derailed and one was thrown. And this was the damage that was deemed EF5 level by the National Weather Service in Grand Forks, North Dakota, as well as engineers Tim Marshall, Jim Ledoux, Dr. Connell Miller, Dr. Greg Kopp, and Dr. David Sills. Their work determined this tornado to be an EF5, which is insane. And this is purely contextual, too. No structural damage was determined to be EF5, which is unusual because usually, like, an EF5 tornado would have to cause some form of structural damage to earn such a rating. So this is just completely unexpected. A bunch of other DIs were also reanalyzed. Tree damage along Tree damage along the Maple River was upgraded to EF4. Originally, there wasn't a rating for it, I don't believe, but it was incredibly violent tree damage. A lot of them were just debarked and mangled. Oh, there's photos of them now. Yeah, some of them just torn out of the ground. Yeah, debarking, sandpapering, etc. You can see the damage from an aerial perspective on Google Earth. So I suppose we'll just go over the track and then I'll show you guys the specific areas of the damage as we go along the track. So officially touchdown here along... Get roads up here. Along 58th Street Southeast, causing EF0 tree damage. Continuing northeast, rapid intensification occurred. Some minor crop lodging occurred here. That's just flattened crops from wind damage, more particularly tornadoes in this case. And as it continued northeast, it impacted a farmstead at EF2 intensity. It caused some tree damage and damage to a barn. And as it continued northeast, this is where it reached its peak intensity of EF5. So right here along these train tracks is where the one car was lofted quite far, and then a bunch of other ones were derailed and kind of thrown off the tracks. And this is where the EF5 swath occurred officially. There's a lot of information with each DI. So if you want to go into more detail about it and look more into it, the Damage Assessment Toolkit is a great website for that right here. That gives the full breakdown. And then after causing that EF5 contextual damage, you continue northeast and absolutely obliterated this tree line. Officially rated EF3. It was likely stronger intensity there, but they probably didn't go too far into detail with that one. And then here's where the other upgrade EF4 tree damage occurred. These trees here on the Maple River were just annihilated. Hardwoods in this region are much stronger, I believe, and that's what led to the upgrade in this area too. You can, if you zoom in here, you can absolutely just see they're all mangled beyond recognition. There's also aerial views. I'm not sure if Aaron got it or not. But yeah, it was just incredibly violent there too. And then originally, it was thought that if Enderlin was going to be upgraded to, it was theorized it would be upgraded to EF4, maybe based on the one swept away home here. And it was up. That home was indeed upgraded to EF4 with wind speeds around 180 miles per hour. The survey noted it would have been higher if there were proper connections in place, and I don't believe the home had anchoring at all. If so, very little. So, yeah, only a EF4 rating of 180 miles per hour was determined there. It was likely stronger based on nearby tree damage, but that's the peak there. And then a home to the west, the core of the violent core of this tornado was very wide. It was quite a large tornado. A home to the west as well also got EF4. That is shown in Rigsby's video right here. So this home also got an EF4 rating. It's built into a hill, so I believe it wasn't two-story. I think it just had its roof removed. But yeah. And then the 180 mile per hour home was right here. This was the home I mentioned just before where it was theorized it might get upgraded to EF4, but then it didn't. So, yeah. And then as you continue north, it weakens quite a lot. It's still probably intense to violent, maybe, but there's not really any damage indicators to impact at this point. Home was struck here at high in EF3 intensity. A fatality occurred here and at this home too. Two fatalities occurred here, and then one fatality occurred in this home here. Originally, this was rated as EF3 with wind speeds around 150 miles per hour. With this recent reanalysis, this has also been upgraded to high-end EF3, so nearly violent, but just below EF4. And then near the end of its track, as it began to occlude, as it merged with the derecho, it caused a lot of EF3 tree damage to truss towers that collapsed. So that's really it regarding the overall damage survey of the tornado. As the supercell merged with the derecho, it then produced another tornado right next to the EF3. I believe if officially it starts east of the not the EF3, excuse me, the EF5, but I think it started actually a bit west. It's just hard to tell because the paths crossed each other. And that tornado also caused pretty intense contextual damage, but nothing as severe as Enderlin. More like EF2, maybe EF3 in some spots. Really powerful not contextual, cyclodal, quote, ground scouring. So yes, this is the DAT survey. I remember pulling this up and was just shocked. I did not expect this at all. Basically the same thing I just showed you on here. I adjusted the polygon colors to match with the readings that occurred, because officially it's only EF5 polygon all throughout. This is the official public information statement regarding the tornado. This goes really in depth into the upgrade, why it happened, who worked on it, etc. But yeah, as I mentioned earlier, so officially the winds are, how do I tell that greater than 210 miles per hour. But it's estimated that the DIs were probably caused by winds of at least 230 to 266 miles per hour. But officially, the winds are estimated at 210, just for that, because that's just kind of what the EF5 threshold is. It's just above like 200 miles per hour. So, again, that's a photo of the train cars that earn the rating. This is Tim Marshall's post on Facebook. He was one of the engineers that assisted in the upgrade. There's a photo of it from Alex Rezel. That's the public information statement. And this is the calculations behind it from Tim. I'm not savvy enough to like go really into this, but this is just incredible analysis of this event, and these are great images to look at. I'll provide the link in the description so you can see these images yourself. Here are some photos from Clinton Hendricks of the tornado itself. So this was taken just south of Sheldon. So he's looking northwest here. So he's looking at it at its peak intensity, essentially. The peak intensity occurred around 11:09, I believe, and that's around when this photo was taken. And here's a photo of it occluding. So this is probably when it was doing that EF3 damage up here to the truss towers. Same here. This is when it was like fully occluding and roping out. Same photo of it in the original one. Yeah. And here's the graphic officially released by the National Weather Service in Grand Forks, North Dakota. Not any new information as far as what I just elaborate on, but. And here's a post on Blue Sky from Dr. Connell Miller. He was one of the people on the team to assist in the upgrade. He's part of the Northern Tornadoes Project of Canada, and this is just a post from him regarding this. Check what this is. This is a paper written by him and a few other meteorologists that assisted with the upgrade of the tornado. It just goes in depth of what the title says, essentially. It's a very nice paper. I'd recommend reading it. I'll link it down below as well. So that's about it as far as going into this. This is a very historic upgrade. Like I said, this is the first EF5 since the Moore, Oklahoma tornado. And hopefully in the future we'll see more contextual upgrades like this. I believe there's been train cars thrown to a similar degree in like tornadoes like Mayfield, etc. So I'm hoping there will be more tornadoes looked into this. But this is just an incredible event to occur, especially on a derecho day. It's kind of hard to see here, but there was a few tornadoes associated with the QLCS part of the derecho. And then as the supercell, actually, I don't know if it's the same supercell as Spearwood, but I think it is. I'm not sure. But here's radar data of this. So the red dot is around peak intensity. So the train cars were located along here. It was I think it was like right here where this red marker is. So that was around its peak intensity on radar. I believe there's a VROT of 106 knots, which is among the strongest ever. So it kind of is quickly developed out of nowhere and was really violent. And at this point, it's hitting the Maple River trees, and it's approaching the one EF4 180 home here and EF4 170 home here. But yeah, overall a very historic event. I just wanted to cover that and go into the details of how this happened, why it happened, etc. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them down below, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for tuning in.